Ramadan. Ramadan is the month of blessings and forgiveness. Ramadan is the month of blessings and forgiveness. Ramadan.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen. Amma ba'd. فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله. صلاة والسلام عليك يا حبيب الله. صلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله. وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا نور الله. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, welcome back to another episode of our series, The Virtues of Ramadan. Let's start our episode by listening to an excellence of reciting Salat ala Nabi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. The Holy Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has stated, "The one who recites durood upon me 1,000 times a day will not die until he sees his place in paradise." Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has said, "Niyatul mu'mini khayrun min amali." That is, a believer's intention is better than his action. Remember two Madani pearls. First one is that the more good intentions you make, the more reward you will get, insha'Allah Azza wa Jal. And the reward of a good deed is not granted until you make good intentions. So therefore, let's make some good intentions. Firstly, make the intention that you will listen to this episode to gain the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. You will listen to this episode till the very end, and whatever you learn from this episode, insha'Allah Azza wa Jal, you will share it with your family and friends. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Let's start our topic for today. Our topic is virtues of ilm-e-deen, or Islamic knowledge. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, the virtues of Islamic knowledge have been mentioned at various places in the Holy Quran and blessed Ahadith. Moreover, books of the righteous predecessors are also filled with the virtues of Islamic knowledge. Let us also listen to some virtues of Islamic knowledge. Sayyidina Abdullah bin Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma has stated, "I was young at the time of the apparent demise of the Holy Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. I said to one of the Ansari boys, who was the same age as me, 'Let's acquire knowledge from the companions of the Holy Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, because right now there are a lot of them in number.' The Ansari boy replied, 'O Ibn Abbas, you are really strange. Why would people need you in the presence of so many companions radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in?' Upon this, I left the Ansari boy and started acquiring knowledge myself. Many times it happened that when I came to know about that so and so companion has such and such ahadith, then I would go running to his home. If he would be resting, then I would stay by his door resting on my shawl by making a pillow of it, while a hot breeze would still keep burning my face. When that companion would come out and see me in such a state, he would get impressed of me and say, 'O the son of the Holy Prophet's uncle, what do you want?' I would say, 'You narrate so and so hadith of the Holy Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. I have just come to hear that.' He radiyallahu ta'ala anhu would say, 'You should have sent someone. I would have come myself.' I would reply, 'No, I should have come myself for this very important task.' After this, when all the companions radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in passed away, then the same Ansari saw that people needed me. He would say out of regret, 'O Ibn Abbas, you were wiser than me.' Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, what can be said about the virtues of acquiring Islamic knowledge? Virtues of ilm-e-deen and ulama have been mentioned at various places in the Holy Quran. Allah Azza wa Jal states in part 3, Surah Ali Imran, ayat number 18, translation of Quran Kanzul Iman, Allah has testified that there is none worthy of worship but Him, and so did the angels and those of knowledge, that is the ulama, whilst maintaining justice. The father of Ala Hazrat Allama Maulana Naqi Ali Khan Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi states that this ayah proves three virtues of knowledge. First is that Allah Almighty has mentioned ulama with Himself and the angels. Second, ulama are also made witness of His oneness, just like the angels, and their witness has also been considered as proof of Him being the Lord Almighty. Thirdly, Allah Almighty considered their ulamas, yani the ulamas' witnesses, to be authentic, just like that of the angels. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. Similarly, at another place in the Holy Quran, dignity and eminence of the people of knowledge have been mentioned in the following manner. Translation of Quran, Kanzul Iman: Allah will raise the ranks of the excellent believers amongst you and those who have been given knowledge. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. Sayyidina Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhuma has stated, the blessed scholars will be 700 times higher in rank than the ordinary believers. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. There is a distance of 500 years in between every two ranks. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, other than the Holy Quran, numerous virtues of Ilm-e-Deen and Islamic scholars have also been mentioned in the blessed ahadith. Let's listen to such ahadith to realize the importance of Ilm-e-Deen in our hearts. The Holy Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has stated, the one who left his house in the pursuit of religious knowledge, he is in the path of Allah Almighty until He returns. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. The Holy Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has also stated, the one who learns 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 sentences in regard to the faraid of Allah Almighty, memorizes them properly and then teaches them to the people, he will enter paradise. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. The Holy Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has stated, Allah Almighty will resurrect people on the Day of Judgment. Then He will separate the ulama and say to them, O group of ulama, I know you. That's why I blessed you with knowledge myself. And I did not give you knowledge so that I will inflict you with punishment. Go, I have forgiven you. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, we come to know from the blessed ahadith that acquiring ilm-e-deen is a means of attaining the pleasure of Allah Almighty, forgiveness and salvation, and entering paradise. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. Sadr al-Sharia Badr al-Tariqa Allama Maulana Mufti Amjad Ali Azami Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi has stated, knowledge is not something that requires its excellence and virtues to be mentioned. The whole world knows that knowledge is something wonderful. Acquiring is a symbol of elevation. Ilm-e-Deen is something that makes the human life pleasant and successful. Moreover, it betters one's dunya as well as the hereafter. This knowledge refers to the knowledge that is acquired from the Holy Quran and the blessed ahadith, and it beautifies one's dunya as well as the hereafter. The very same ilm is a means of salvation. The very same ilm has been acclaimed in the Holy Quran and the blessed ahadith, and we have been persuaded towards acquiring the very same ilm. Ilm is the inheritance of the blessed Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam. Ilm is the way of attaining Allah's closeness. Ilm shows one the path of guidance. Ilm is a means of refraining from sins. Ilm is a great tool to embed the fear of Allah Almighty within us. Ilm is a means of gaining respect in this world as well as in the hereafter. Ilm resurrects the dead hearts. Ilm protects one's iman. Ilm is a means of getting the love of the creation of Allah Almighty. Ilm is adorned with innumerable virtues. Ilm gives you this world as well as the hereafter. Ilm provides peace as well as satisfaction. Ilm is relished by its possessor, and it also provides tranquility. Therefore, wise is the one who engages in acquiring ilm-e-deen and gathers provision for the salvations in the hereafter. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, alas, the value of ilm-e-deen is dying in our hearts. Majority of our society is neither inclined towards acquiring ilm-e-deen themselves, nor do they teach it to their children. They do provide their children with worldly education and skills for a bright future, but do not think about bettering their own and their children's hereafter by providing them with religious education. If the child is intelligent, the one yearns to make him a doctor, engineer, professor, computer programmer, etc. And if the child is not intelligent, naughty, or handicapped, he is enrolled into Darul Madina, Jamiatul Madina, or Madrasatul Madina in order to get rid of him. Whereas our righteous predecessors, rahimahumullah ta'ala, would teach their children ilm-e-deen from a young age, to the extent that even majestic kings would also adorn their children with the treasure of knowledge, because they used to value ilm and ulama. Khalifa Harun Rashid was a very pious king, and he knew the value of ilm-e-deen. Once, he requested Sayyidina Imam Kisai rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh to teach his son Mamun Rashid. Upon this, he rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh said, "I will not come there to teach him, send the prince over to my house." Harun Rashid humbly said, "He will come there at your house, but please teach him first." He rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh said, "This will not happen either. The one who comes first will be taught first." Anyhow, Mamun Rashid started to learn from him. One day by chance, Khalifa Harun Rashid passed by there and saw that Imam Qasai rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh is washing his feet, and his son Mamun Rashid is pouring water over his feet. The king furiously came down off his horse and whipped his son Mamun Rashid, saying, "O unmannered son, why has Allah Almighty given you two hands? Pour water over his foot with one hand and wash his foot with the other hand." Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, Khalifa Harun Rashid would not only revere blessed ulama and fuqaha, but would also give them a lot of importance to their suggestions in the matters of state and his own worldly and religious matters. He would consider their words to be a final verdict. He would seek their advice for the betterment of the hereafter. At times, he would even go to the doorsteps himself to get advice. If the blessed ulama would come to his court, he would stand up for them out of respect without carrying his royal awe or dignity. It is stated in Malfuzat-e-Ala Hazrat, when an Islamic scholar would come in the court of Harun Rashid, then Harun Rashid would stand up for him out of respect. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, it is narrated regarding the beloved father of Hujjatul Islam, Sayyidina Imam Muhammad Ghazali rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, that although he was himself not a learned person, but knew the importance of Islamic knowledge, it was his heartily desire that both his sons, Muhammad Ghazali and Ahmad Ghazali rahimahumullah ta'ala, be adorned with the knowledge of Sharia and Tariqah. He had also gathered some wealth for the purpose of his children's education, an education which became very handy for both his sons during the days of their education. Similarly, our Ghaus-e Pak, Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, arrived in Baghdad in order to acquire ilm-e-deen in his childhood after taking permission from his blessed mother. Ala Hazrat rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh would also keep acquiring ilm-e-deen from his childhood, to the extent that he rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh was blessed with completing the Nazra of the Holy Quran at the age of merely 4 years old. Moreover, he rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh completed the mainstream branches of knowledge at the age of only 13 years, 10 months and 4 days through his father Maulana Naqi Ali Khan rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, and then he also attained a degree in them. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. O devotees of Rasul, from these parables that we just heard, we come to know that our righteous predecessors, rahimahumullah ta'ala, would engage their children in acquiring ilm-e-deen from their childhood. We should also provide Madani upbringing to our children and try to teach them knowledge of deen from an early age. It is also very important to bring our children up according to the Sunnahs, so that they become pious and that they be saved from the hellfire whose fuel are humans and stones. Allah Almighty states in part 28, Surah Tahrim, ayat number 6, translation of Quran, Kanzul Iman, O believers, save yourselves and your families from the fire, the fuel of which are humans and stones. Appointed over it are extremely powerful angels who do not refuse the command of Allah, and they only do what they are commanded. Allama Maulana Mufti Muhammad Naeemuddin Muradabadi Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayh mentions in Khazainul Irfan, save yourself and your household from the fire by adopting the obedience of Allah Almighty and that His beloved Rasul Sallallahu Ta'ala Alaihi Wa Alihi Wasallam, performing worship, refraining from sins, instructing the household upon righteousness and refraining them from evil, and teaching them knowledge and etiquette. The Holy Rasul Sallallahu Ta'ala Alaihi Wa Alihi Wasallam has stated, you all are leaders and rulers of your dependents, and every one of you will be questioned on the Day of Judgment regarding his dependents. In the commentary of this hadith, the commentator of Bukhari states that dependent means the one who is under the guardianship of someone. Based upon this concept, ordinary people are dependents of the leaders and the rulers. Children are of parents, students are of teachers, and disciples are of the peer, the spiritual guide. Similarly, the wealth that is under the custody of wife, children, or servant, it is wajib upon them to look after it. The one who has no one under him is the leader of his limbs, acts, statements, and movements. He will be held responsible for all of these. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, parents should realize their responsibility and take care of the Madani upbringing of their children. They should make them steadfast upon offering salah and observing fasts, especially in the holy month of Ramadan. Moreover, they should also make them aware of the Shari'i rulings regarding the faraid and the wajibat, halal and haram, buying and selling, and the rights of people, etc. The best way to achieve this is by making your children do Dars-e-Nizami, that is alim course, so that our children teach others after acquiring ilm-e-deen, so that they become the means of our salvation in the hereafter. Alhamdulillah Azza wa Jal, for the completion of this purpose, Jami'atul Madinas of the Madani movement of the devotees of Rasul, Dawat-e-Islami are established. In Jami'atul Madina, students are not only provided with ilm-e-deen, but their character development is also done in order to brighten their future. In this relation, students of Jami'atul Madina travel with the Madani Qaflas with the devotees of Rasul Sallallahu Ta'ala Alaihi Wa Alihi Wasallam according to their schedule. In fact, some fortunate students even get the privilege of traveling in the 12-month Madani Qaflas. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. Acting upon the Madani Inamat given by Amir al-Sunnat, Allama Maulana Ilyas Attar Qadiri Damat Barakatum al-Aliyah, they fill the booklet of Madani Inamat every day and submit it to the responsible Islamic brother at the end of every month. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, Alhamdulillah Azza wa Jal, we're listening to different virtues of getting al-Medeen, of acquiring al-Medeen, the knowledge of the Quran and the blessed hadith. Let's continue listening to those. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, by the virtue of acquiring al-Medeen, not only does Allah Almighty get happy, but one also attains the pleasure of the Holy Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. You should too gather courage and inscribe your and your children's names in the list of the fortunate individuals by enrolling them in the Jami'atul Madina of Dawat-e-Islami. The purpose of depriving one's children of religious education and giving them worldly education only is to attain the worldly wealth. Unfortunately, some parents think that if our child gets inclined towards acquiring ilm-e-deen or religious education, then ma'azallah his future will be in danger. How would he settle down and earn his livelihood? How would he fulfill his needs with just a few thousand rupees? In short, one falls prey of many shaitanic whispers, and they keep their children away from acquiring ilm-e-deen. It is advised to such children that whenever a Muslim does something, his purpose should be to attain the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal instead of only getting this world, and especially when acquiring ilm-e-deen. The sole intention should be to attain the pleasure of Allah Almighty. As far as wealth is concerned, it is beyond the mercy of Allah Almighty that He leaves the one acquiring religious education alone. How is it possible? It is stated in a hadith, the one who acquires ilm-e-deen, Allah Almighty will ease off his difficulties and grant him sustenance from where he wouldn't even imagine. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah Azza wa Jal, those who acquire al-Madeen with sincerity and hard work often spend a better life than most of the worldly people. Various rulers, officers and senior people consider it to be a privilege to kiss the ulama's hands, serve them and carry their shoes, whereas this rank and status is not even given to the richest and wealthiest people of this world. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, let's listen to another blessed hadith. The Holy Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has stated, when a person dies, his deeds come to an end except for 3 deeds. Number 1, sadqa jariyah. Number 2, such knowledge that is benefited from. And number 3, pious offspring that prays for him. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, we came to know that sadqa jariyah, spreading knowledge and pious offspring, are such deeds whose reward one receives after even passing away from this world. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. Therefore, be determined to provide the knowledge of deen to your children and enroll them in Jamiatul Madina, which is an institute under the supervision of Dawat Islami where people become Islamic scholars. In the current era, ignorance is the biggest evil that tops the list of evils that exists in our society. Whether it is the domestic matter or a business issue, whether it is something to do with friends or relatives, whether it is regarding a marriage or a good upbringing of children, in short, whether it is to do with the rights of Allah Almighty or that of the people, whatever evils exist in different walks of life, if we seriously ponder over it, then it will become evident upon us that the main reason for it is the lack of knowledge of Ilm-e-Deen. Due to not having the knowledge of Ilm-e-Deen and lacking the true guidance, not only are evils spreading in our day-to-day affairs and etiquette of people, but various kinds of evils are spreading amongst people and their beliefs and acts of worship very rapidly. In order to stop all these evils, it is not sufficient to only acquire the Islamic knowledge, but it is also necessary to act upon the Islamic knowledge and strive to reform others. Alhamdulillah Azza wa Jal, giving the mindset of reforming ourselves and others, Amir Ahl Sunnat, Damat Barakatum al-Aliyah, has given us this Madani aim. I must strive to reform myself and the people of the entire world. Insha'Allah Azza wa Jal, due to this passion and yearning to spread Islamic knowledge, hundreds of Jamiatul Madina are opened across Pakistan and even all around the world. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, now let's listen to some Madani pearls regarding the one acquiring al-Madeen. The Holy Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has stated, the one who treads on a path in order to seek Islamic knowledge, Allah Almighty makes the path to paradise easy for him. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. The Holy Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has stated, the one who leaves his home in the search of knowledge, angels become happy of his action and spread their wings for him. Subhanallah Azza wa Jal. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, Alhamdulillah Azza wa Jal, in this episode, we heard different virtues of acquiring Islamic knowledge. May Allah Azza wa Jal grant us all with the blessing of acquiring al-Madeen. Ameen. Bijahi Nabi Ameen sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Keep watching Madani Channel. Insha'Allah Azza wa Jal, tomorrow we'll be back with another episode. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
Ramadan is the month of blessings and forgiveness. Ramadan is the month of blessings and forgiveness. Ramadan.